Welcome to the Finance Marketing Podcast, a show that empowers finance professionals to market their businesses in ways that feel good and actually achieve results. I'm your host, Hillary. I've been working with folks in financial services to develop marketing strategies that work and create results-oriented marketing content since 2020. And I've learned a lot about what works in finance marketing, what doesn't work, and where financial services pros get stuck. Join us each Friday as we explore real, effective ways to market your finance business and connect with folks who truly embody your ideal clients. My guest this week is Katie Braden, founder of Advisor Video Marketing. With 18 years in financial services, Katie turned her passion for helping the industry evolve into Advisor Video Marketing. Her mission is to make video marketing accessible and enjoyable for financial advisors. Now, Katie is not just another consultant. She is a pioneer who started one of the very first fee-only financial planning firms. Katie has also consulted for financial professionals in over 35 countries. She obtained her degree in photography from RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia, before returning to the US and joining her mother's RIA in 2006. Her credentials include being a CFP professional, an Investment News 40 Under 40 alum, and an ongoing service on the CFP Board's Women's Initiative Council. Through her workshops and services, she's here to help you use video to improve your client experience and expand your reach. Now, Katie brings such a unique perspective to video marketing because she has been doing it herself for over a decade. She had a YouTube channel and was using video to attract clients back in 2013, long before most advisors were even thinking about it. So in this conversation, Katie and I dive into the common video mistakes nearly every advisor is making, many of which are holdovers from the early days of virtual meetings during COVID. She's also sharing how simple fixes to your camera angle, your lighting, and your audio can dramatically improve how prospects and clients perceive you. We talk about why showing your authentic personality on video is what actually converts prospects into clients, and how to create scripts that sound like you rather than like they came straight from ChatGPT. Katie shares her video-first marketing strategy that helps you maximize every piece of content you create by building an entire ecosystem around your videos, from blog posts to newsletters to social media clips and more. Katie really demystifies video marketing and makes it feel completely doable, even if you are still a little bit terrified of being on camera. So if you've been putting off video because of fear or overwhelm, or if you're already creating videos but not seeing the results you want, this episode will give you a clear roadmap for using video to build trust with prospects before they ever book a call with you. So without further ado, let's dive in. Katie, I am so excited to have you on the Finance Marketing Podcast today. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous, Hillary. I'm so excited to be here with you. Love talking finance marketing.
I do too. And I am particularly excited to talk about video because I think video is something every advisor needs to be doing these days. And it's something that I actually don't get to talk about a ton. So it's so great to have you here. Can we start with just a really quick intro from you? Who are you? How did you get into this? I know that you used to be an advisor yourself.
Yes.
What do you do now?
I have done a little bit of everything. So I'll try to keep it 30-second story in a nutshell. I'm from Seattle, got a degree in photography in Australia. So I joke I took the natural path to becoming a CFP professional. The government kicked me out after I graduated, tried to get permanent residency. And my mom was like, you need a job. And she had a successful, and Hillary, if you can believe it, already virtual RIA in 2006.
Wow.
And so I joined that and was just very good at the operations side, got my CFP certification. And then I was like, I think that creative side of my brain made me look at the industry differently. And I was like, none of this makes any sense. So in 2013, I left my mother's RIA and started one of the first completely virtual subscription model financial planning businesses. So pre-XYPN. So this was in 2013. And I was using video then. I had a YouTube channel. I had video on my website. I had video on my newsletter. And so by the time prospects got to discovery calls with me, they were ready to work with me. It was really just me deciding if I wanted to work with them. So I have actually been talking about advisors using video for over a decade.
Wow. It sounds like both you and your mom are really pioneers in the industry.
Yeah, I think we're more like a little bit impatient and obsessed with efficiencies is maybe where.
Yes. Talk to me a little bit. I didn't know that your mom was also a planner, an advisor.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about what spurred her to become one of the first virtual firms.
So she, I think, was kind of like going virtual in the late 90s. When I was in high school, she would pay
Mm,
me to actually like scan all of their documents, and they went paperless in like 1998. So, I
wow.
mean, she was just always been tech savvy. So I don't know, maybe it's genetic.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow. Okay, so you had a YouTube channel and you said you started your firm in 2013.
Yep.
You had a YouTube channel. YouTube came out in 2007,
Yeah.
2008. I don't know. So, okay, so YouTube is a baby. You have a YouTube channel. What are you talking about in your videos and what are people learning from you that makes them so ready to book a discovery call?
So I don't think they were that sophisticated. They're terribly embarrassing if we went and dug them up and you'd be like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. It was really bad production quality, like everything about it was bad. But for me, it was more actually about showing my personality. So
Right.
it wasn't like boring educational stuff about, what does Medicare mean and what, like that just wasn't that interesting to me. So I think
Mm,
I grew up a drama kid, right? I did photography, like I've got that creative side. And so I think that is actually a really good takeaway. And that's something I always try to work with my advisor clients on is like, the thing that matters is you,
mm,
and even
mhm,
more so now because anybody can go to ChatGPT and ask
mm,
it, any of these questions. Should I take
mhm,
Social Security at, 62 or 65? So why are they going to pause and take time out of their day to watch your video?
mm.
It has to be because it's something more interesting than just reading it, and that they're getting to know, like, and trust you or not like you, right?
Right.
With marketing, we want it to work equally to attract our ideal clients and to turn away those people that aren't the right fit.
Right. Can you give me some concrete examples of so even back to those early videos or today, what are the things about your personality that you try to make sure get into your videos so that people can see, ooh, I love Katie, I want to work with Katie, or maybe Katie's not for me.
So, color, right? I'm a very
Hmm.
colorful person. I think color just makes the world a better, brighter, happier place. So, right, if you see me on video, you're going to see I'm always, my nails are colored. I wear colorful dresses. My background's colorful. And so, to me, that's the first thing, right? Before I even say a word,
Mm,
somebody's either going to see that and go, that's cool, or they're going to say, I can't take her seriously.
mm,
Either one is perfect.
yes.
So just thinking about, right, what is that literal first impression
Hmm.
before anything is said? And that's where I think a lot of advisors, you mentioned at the beginning, it was like, oh, advisors should be using video. They all are using video. They just
Hmm.
don't think about it that way, right?
Mm,
Every single advisor in the world went virtual when COVID hit,
right.
and they were forced to do it. They didn't know how. And so it was excusable in the early days. But really, if we look now, most people just built a lot of bad habits and never
Mm,
paused to say, okay, that was a kind of a long, long time ago. I
mhm.
need to like level up my presence. Whether they're still doing
Okay.
virtual meetings, which we know most advisors are, that is video, right? How you come
Yes.
across in those virtual client, prospect, and even team meetings, it matters.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those mistakes or some of those bad habits that you mentioned.
So, probably, right? If we think again, like before you even hear somebody talk, what do you see? And
Mm.
Hillary, how many ceilings have you seen in the last 5 years?
Ooh, I don't know.
Everybody's
Everybody's
ceilings,
ceilings.
right? They have their cameras pointed at their ceilings and like they're down at the bottom of the screen, like it's bring your child to work day. And you're just like, what is happening here? It doesn't give that, like, I am a professional, I have a
Right.
presence, I know what I'm doing, right? We don't have that initial reaction. So that is
Mhm.
always the biggest thing, right? And I do a lot of like webinars with advisors, like, or I'll sit in webinars, right? And
Yes.
I'm just like, I'll message people on the side. I'm like, hey, can I give you a few pointers?
Yeah.
Because if you go into a conference room and you sit down and the chair falls to the bottom, right,
Right.
you're going to lift that chair up.
Right.
It's just
Right.
as important on video.
That is so true. I think when I started doing webinars, which was just this summer, I made sure that I had a standing desk because I was like, I am not going to be sitting while I am doing these webinars. I feel like
Yep.
for my own confidence and for everybody in the webinar, it makes such a difference.
I'm standing right now talking to you.
Yes, you are. And I
Yep.
am sitting and I'm like, oh my gosh, I should be standing.
It's standing. Well, and then think about like the things that we would never think about, right?
Right.
When we stand, we are actually like telling our body we are in
Right.
control.
Right.
So when people think how nervous they get when that record button comes on, or like, where
Right.
do I look? It's because when we're sitting, we're kind of in like a little more of a defensive position,
Right.
right?
It's easier to kind of hunch,
Yep.
right? And then when you're standing, you're just much taller,
Yep. You're
more
taller.
open.
You should have your camera right at eye level, right? We don't
Mm-hmm.
want the camera way up there looking down like it's a security camera. We don't need the camera on
Right.
the floor counting our nose hairs. Like, we want to always be emulating what it feels like to be in person on camera.
Mm.
So, like, the
Mm.
easiest way I always tell people, again, like that camera right at eye level. So that's the other thing, is it's good for your posture, right? You're not
Right.
looking up, you're not looking down. You should be looking straight, just
Right.
like if we were sitting across from the table. And then I always want to see, always, most things have an exception to the rule, this one doesn't, more room below your chin than above your head.
Okay. Okay.
Because again,
That's a
think
good
about
rule of
if
thumb.
we're having coffee,
Right.
right? We're going to see our upper bodies. We're going to be
Right.
making that eye contact. And then that way we get more natural hand gestures in. Whatever your natural hand gestures are, might not be quite as many as mine, but most of us has some natural hand gestures.
Yes. Okay. Anything else that comes to mind in terms of bad habits or mistakes?
Yeah. So then if we still think like before people even talk,
Mm-hmm.
terrible lighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're right, and we've all done, like, you've been in a conference room where there's a big window and it's so bright that people will then go turn it down so that everybody can see each other.
Right.
I still see too many advisors with like a massive window behind them and they're just a dark blob.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, that kind of hurts my eyes. And like your camera lens is the same as like our eyeballs. It needs to like be able to focus. So don't make people strain. So like really bad lighting kind of drives me crazy. And then once people do start talking, if nobody can hear you or you sound like you've been dropped down a tin can, it's distracting. Right? And advisors are having very serious conversations. So think about like you're trying to tell people, hey, can you afford to, pay for your kid's wedding or send your kids to college or a major medical expense, right? And they're sitting there, they're like, I can't see you. I'm staring at your ceiling. I'm looking up your nose and I can't hear anything. Not really the experience advisors should be aiming for.
Right, right. It just doesn't inspire a lot of confidence.
Exactly.
Yeah. anything else, or are those kind of the top two?
Those are I would say the top three. So kind of like that framing, kind of the camera angle, I guess, for lighting and audio.
Okay.
And I will say I have to, a little bonus one, maybe a big bonus one. I have only once in 5 years since COVID started seen a person where I didn't know it was a virtual background. Please, all of you, stop using fake blur virtual backgrounds. They're not good. They're not cute. If you need to show your company branding, go buy a polo. Wear a hat. Like, print it up and put it in a frame on your wall. Don't do it through a terrible background. Because again, I'm sitting there, most people are visual. Like, the majority of humans are visual people, right? And I am like especially so. And so I will literally, I've been in meetings where I get up, I'm like, I don't know what they talked about because I was counting how many fingers they have.
Right.
Like, I'm not paying any attention.
Okay. So I have a question for you about that. Because, and let's use me as like a little case study here. So I recently moved into a new home, and we are turning our front dining room into a study that will be my office. That's going to have a beautiful background. We have to put doors on it because I have 2 young children running around. And so I need a place where I can close the door. So right now, for anyone who's listening to the audio, I am in our guest room with a bed behind me. There's nothing on the walls yet because we just moved into the house a few months ago. What should I do in this situation? Is it better to have a blurred background? Is it better to have just what's behind me and that's just what it is? Or is there something that I can do to like easily dress up this temporary space that, yes, it's temporary, but I'll probably be here for a few months?
Yeah, so I have had that multiple times. And that's the other thing
Mhm.
is I'm like, I have been in all the situations. We've had like too many people staying in our house. I have been relegated to the corner of our primary bedroom. We've moved, we've had construction. Like I have fit in all kinds of tiny little spaces. And so that's where when I did, it wasn't the most fun. I don't really recommend it, but when I was in our bedroom and it was not a big bedroom and I literally had to kick my husband out at like 7 a.m. every day, and I had just a tiny little like fold desk and I would actually like push it against the wall at night. And then in the morning, I would just bring it out. And I literally, I mean, I didn't have, I don't know, it was like a 4 by 5 foot entire section that
Uh-huh.
was like my studio, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want the bed in the background.
Right.
And so I turned the desk around so that I had
Okay.
that wall. And then I had,
Okay.
some stuff on the wall. That's
Right.
the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
But I'm like, I don't want that blurred background because here's the thing. Whenever I see that with people, honestly, my brain, and this is the thing, is there's so many subconscious things going on that,
Right.
when advisors listen, they're like, oh no, that's not true. That's not true.
Mhm.
We don't always recognize, right? If you're having prospect calls and a prospect decides not to work with you, they might not know why.
Right.
Right. They might not be able to pinpoint. And so this
Right.
is where those little things come in of like, if you have a blurred background, especially like if you're in an office space and people are moving and you can
Mhm.
see those shadows, there is that like, what are you hiding?
Yes.
And why are you
100%.
hiding it? Right. It just plants seeds of doubt.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it is true that it is probably subconscious, but
Mm-hmm.
the things that happen in our brains subconsciously drive our actions. So
Right.
I totally hear you and I'm on board with that. Okay, that's great advice. I'm going to have to think about how can I turn this desk around and have a
Turn
little
the
bit
desk around
more of
or
a
like, yeah, you can turn around or it's like, it's not bad, right? We still see, I mean, I spend probably too much time on YouTube, but so many people, there are doctors out there with like all their skincare channels. They're all in their bedroom, right? And
right,
I get that we're talking about financial advisors, but guess what? All humans have bedrooms.
right.
Like, right? It is a normal thing. It's not like it's the worst thing in the world, right? We know
Right.
you are probably going home and sleeping somewhere. So maybe, put a different blanket on it or a pop of color or something that,
Mhm.
maybe doesn't make it feel so much like a bed, where it's
Right.
just kind of like,
Right.
a colorful
Right.
thing behind you.
Right. Well, what I've noticed always, whenever I've been on a call with you, you always have these beautiful lights behind you that you can kind of change the colors. Right now, it's like a beautiful purple.
Yeah.
How do you decide what colors to choose?
So everybody's chosen for me. Sometimes people will ask me to change it. They'll be like, "Oh, can you do green today?" And I will. But then they have all said, "Nope, it works better with purple." So I've just
Oh,
kept it purple.
okay. You just keep it at purple. That's so interesting. I actually have another person that I have started working with locally who does videos, and his background is always purple. So I wonder if there's something there to like the purple
Right? It's a
color.
friendly color. It's can bring some joy.
Right.
It's not like red that has associations with
Right.
death,
Violence.
sadness, violence.
Yes. Right.
Try to stay
Right.
away from that.
Yes. Okay. How do you feel, Katie, about scripts for videos?
So I have evolved on this thought. In a
Mm,
perfect world, I really want to see advisors come through with their personality, but this is where, there are exceptions to the rule. And
mm,
what works for one person is not going to work for somebody else. So there are advisors where if you say, like, just hit record, they are going to blab for 37 minutes and you're going to get 62 seconds of content out of it,
yeah.
right? Not a good use of anybody's time. So for a lot of advisors now, I'll generally start them with scripts
Mm,
and really make sure that it is a script in their voice with
mhm.
their personality. That way they kind of stay on track. And I focus more on like the cadence. Like if we think about it in terms of exercising, right? You got to get the reps in. You've
Right.
got to show up. You've got to keep doing it. Then you can evolve over time. And so
Mhm.
that generally works better for most people is like,
Mm,
let's structure it. Let's get you comfortable because if they do kind of ramble and it does take a really long time to get content, they're going to get frustrated. That's not the
right.
best use of their time and they're never going to do a video again.
Right. Right. Do you have any tips for somebody who is using a script and kind of putting those reps in to make it feel like they're not reading off of a script?
So one thing, please everyone, stop just asking ChatGPT and then reading exactly what it outputs because
Yes.
you're all hurting my soul and everybody's sounding the same.
Yeah.
And it's not interesting. I mean, I can tell in 2 sentences if somebody took a script right out of ChatGPT. So really be honest with yourself. When is
Mm.
the last time you sat in a client or prospect meeting and genuinely said, you're not alone?
Yes.
How often do you talk about something being a game changer? Do
Right.
you really talk about like the levers you pull? Right? If you
Yes.
do, fine. But I know, especially my clients, and I'm like, they don't talk like that. Are
Mm.
you constantly saying, it's not this, it's this?
Oh, I
No,
hate that sentence
no,
construction.
right? Like all those things are just like, to me, they are just nails on a chalkboard. And every time I see it, I'm just like, we've got to stop this.
Yeah.
So, what I actually tell people to do is like go for a walk, right? Hopefully, people are kind of taking morning walks anyway, evening walks. It's, good for our soul. And record yourself, like
Mm.
voice record,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, if you're like Slack actually works really well for this, if you have Slack because it auto transcribes it, or just
Mm-hmm.
use the notes app on your phone, but talk to yourself about topic ideas.
Mm.
And then we can take that, if you want, and put it into AI and kind of
Mm-hmm.
say, keep this language, keep this tone of voice, but
Mm-hmm.
add some structure, make sure it's valuable and relevant to my target audience, which is, and hopefully you have
Mm-hmm.
a clear target audience, right? And kind of come from that way rather than starting with, asking like a chat GPT, hey, what should I talk about? Now give me a script. It's not
Right.
going to have any of you in it.
Right. I think that's such a smart tip is to record yourself talking and then give it to chat or whatever AI tool you use
Yep.
and say, okay, can you analyze this so that you understand my speaking cadence, you understand my voice, and you start to recognize some of the phrases or quirks that I use when I talk and things like that. And I think that can be a really powerful way to train ChatGPT on your voice so it gives you a script that actually sounds like you.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And then it's good for you, right? Because if you're just kind of walking and there's no pressure, then
Hmm.
it's easier for you to kind of talk your way through it, right? Or pretend
Right.
a client asked you, or just, recap, okay, 3 clients this week asked me about, whatever, the one big beautiful bill. And these are
Right.
the main points that came up, and these were my answers.
Hmm.
Then there, you've got a topic, you've got it for your audience, your stories, your language. And
Hmm.
then, yeah, we just want to provide a little more structure around it so that there's
Right.
that clear beginning, middle, end value.
Right. So when an advisor is setting out and they're saying, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, how do you help them figure out what should I talk about on the YouTube channel? How long should I talk in a single video? How should I decide what to create shorts of? Like, how do you help them figure out the strategy to build a YouTube channel?
So I always start with them just having like 2 to 3 minute videos,
Mm.
right? Because it is way more important to get the cadence, right? If you think you've never run a marathon before, you're not going to go out and start running 10 miles.
Mm.
You're going to do a mile at a time, maybe 2 miles, right? Take those rest days. You've got to get your body built up to it. So that's where it really is more important about like the cadence, getting more comfortable, because also like your early videos are never going to be your best. So it's like, we
Mm.
just need to get through that, right? You
Right.
don't want to spend all this time on your first video, and then you're like, okay, 7 people saw it.
Yeah.
That sucked. I'm never doing it again.
Right.
It's more important to kind of get a consistency going and
Mm.
then kind of pairing it between they have to have a target audience.
Hmm.
I won't even work with advisors if they're just like, I work with anybody within 5 years of retirement.
Yeah. Not worth it. You're
Yeah.
never going to get any traction.
No, and the advisors that do, not all of them, right? They're
Hmm.
definite exceptions, but I see a lot of advisors that I don't work with on YouTube that I can tell, right? They're getting really good views,
Hmm.
but they have no clear target audience. And so
Right.
they're really also attracting a lot of DIY.
Right.
And that's a trap that a lot of advisors fall into is they're like, I just want to educate people and I want to help. And I'm like, that's not going to pay your bills.
But do you
That's not going to build a
really?
successful business.
Right. 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 That's smart. And I agree with you. I don't work with advisors anymore either who don't have a clear target audience because it's just so hard to get them results essentially. It's just never going to happen. Okay, so you start with the shorter videos and then over time should advisors build up to longer long form videos?
It will depend on their target audience. So, like, if advisors are maybe targeting more millennials that are maybe more on, Instagram, great. We can focus a little more on like YouTube Shorts, Instagram, getting that content out there if
Mm,
that's what they're more likely to find, right? So it's
mhm,
still going to depend on A, also where does the advisor want to spend time? If
mm,
you've never been on Instagram and you don't want to go on Instagram, even if that's where your target audience is, don't force yourself to go on Instagram,
mhm.
right? Like just be like, cool, that's not happening. So
Right.
the answer that nobody likes is your content should be exactly as long as needed to
Mm.
stay valuable and engaging to your target audience.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, besides the video, what other things do people need to think about when they're getting into video? Because it's not just sitting down and recording a video and then posting it. There's other things that you have to do. Can you share what some of those things are?
So, one of the things, and I don't know if this is exactly where you were going with it, but like
Mhm.
I want to make sure that people don't just have a post and pray strategy, right?
Mm.
Like, cool, I'm putting it on YouTube. I'm going to wait for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
So, I call it a video first marketing strategy where I'm
Okay.
like, I want to know right from the advisor. I want them to also focus on when we think about like the content, kind of when you're starting
Hmm.
a YouTube channel. Again, don't just ask ChatGPT, like, what should I talk about?
Right.
What are your areas of expertise and what do you most enjoy?
Hmm.
Because guess what? There are topics that every advisor covers. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't ever want to have to, look at a whole life insurance policy again. Or,
Right.
I outsource my investment management, whatever it is. Like, don't talk about those things if that's not
Right.
what you want to do.
Right.
So, kind of start to think about that. And then I like to start with that, I'm using air quotes, long form video, which really just means the horizontal video on YouTube, even if it's
Hmm.
3 minutes, right? I'm
Hmm.
like, we're going to start with that video. And then from that video, we're going to hopefully embed it in a blog post and
Hmm.
create a blog post out of it. And we're going to post clips, on YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, whatever
Hmm.
your platform is. I usually tell advisors like max of two.
Yep.
And then we want to have a newsletter going out to our clients that actually drives them back to watch the video on the website,
Yes.
not on YouTube.
Okay. Tell me why.
Because if you go on YouTube and you're anything like me, you're going to get distracted watching kitten videos or
Mm.
pandas rolling around in the snow. And you're going to be
Hmm.
like, I don't remember why I came to YouTube in the first place.
Yes.
First, if you send them back
Yes.
to your website, then that's an easy way. If you say in the newsletter, like, hey, if you have any friends or colleagues who are interested in this content, feel free to forward it. And then it goes
Yep.
on their website. Then that person is going to go, oh, hey, I've been looking for
Mm.
an advisor. Oh, what do they do? Oh, how do they work? Oh, how can I schedule a call? You're bringing them into your ecosystem rather than getting lost in a YouTube rabbit hole.
Right. Okay. Very, very smart. I also love that if you're going to spend the time creating the video, squeeze the juice out of it,
Yes.
right? Don't just post it on YouTube and hope that people are going to find you. It's like you create the marketing content and then you market the marketing content. You promote
Yes.
the marketing content, right? And so it all kind of creates this, use the word ecosystem, which I love. It creates this kind of wonderful ecosystem for people to find you and engage with you, and then engage with you over here, and then see you over here, and just consistently be reinforced, with your presence and your name. And then when the stars align and they're ready to work with an advisor, there you are.
They're thinking of you. And did you hear about the Google's 7-4-11 rule last year?
No, please tell me.
So they kind of did all this research, and I agree with it. It might be a little bit intense, but they found that on average, when people are shopping, even for services like an advisor, they generally need to see 7 hours of content, which is a
Uh-huh.
lot,
Uh-huh.
across 4 platforms. So
Okay.
if we think YouTube is one, your website is one, newsletter is one, and
Hmm.
maybe, LinkedIn is one, we've got our
Hmm.
4 platforms and 11 touch points,
Mm.
right? So it's easy to get the 11 when you're posting regularly on YouTube or sending out, weekly or bi-monthly newsletters and posting on LinkedIn, right?
Right.
You can get that consistency. But that makes
Right.
sense, right? It's like people do need to see it repeatedly. And even when somebody is ready to buy, it doesn't mean they're actually going to pause and take that action and schedule an appointment and make it happen.
Right. Exactly. That doesn't surprise me at all, especially, and I would say even for advisors, it could even be a little bit more because it's such a high trust, vulnerable relationship that you're
Right?
asking clients to enter into. And if they've just found you online, they have to be able to have those opportunities to build trust with you
Yeah.
online before they're ready to book a call with you.
So having that content where they can, maybe a friend does forward your newsletter and then they
Mm-hmm.
go and they, start reading your blogs. Well, that's going to take time. And then they
Right.
start watching your videos and that's going to take time. Right.
Right.
And then they get more newsletters. So like you're building a relationship with people before you ever even know they exist.
Right, right. Now you said something at the beginning of our conversation that I think is relevant here. When you were first starting your YouTube channel, people were showing up already wanting to work with you, right? When they got on a discovery call with you.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about I don't know what levers you can pull, to use a ChatGPT phrase here?
Well,
to
Hillary, let me tell you, it is a game changer.
It's not this,
no.
It's that.
I know. I was trying to come up with it. It's not. And I was like, I put that so far out of my brain. My brain doesn't even work like that.
I know. But what are some things either that, maybe you've helped clients have told you, oh, the discovery calls I'm getting, people are so ready to work with me. They're asking fewer questions, things like that. Or what are some things that people can do with their content?
Yeah, that's where we have to see your personality, right? If you're just standing there and just giving educational content that they can get anywhere, that just isn't that interesting, right? Anybody that's ever done it knows, like, the personal content is always going to perform the best.
Yes.
Right. So sharing a little bit about yourself, if your target audience is on LinkedIn, right? Yes, it's a professional platform, but how often are we seeing, people sharing pictures on vacation with their family, right? And talking about how they help their clients spend more time with their family, or sharing about what their hobbies are, right? Advisors are asking clients to share like the most intimate details of their life. Right? We're not taught, especially in this country, to talk about money or anything. So this is where, we don't need advisors to overshare, but it is a relationship. And so you should let people get to know you, right? If you have a favorite sports team that you're passionate about, what are your hobbies? Like, those are always the things that people are going to connect with first, right? When you and I got on this call, you asked me about my ballroom dance camp.
Yep.
Right? It wasn't like instantly like, okay, let's talk about marketing.
Right.
There's something else there to start the conversation. And that's what I always had. By the way, I closed my practice years ago. I like the creative side a lot more. So people always ask me that. I'm not practicing anymore. But that was the thing, right? Almost every conversation started with, oh, where have you traveled? So I started a virtual practice because I love traveling the world, right? I got a degree in Australia. I've been to over 50 countries. And my clients used to enjoy playing like, where in the world is Katie? And I didn't even realize, right? Advisors are often like, I don't want clients to know I'm on vacation or doing any of this.
Right.
I never saw it coming, but remember, this is over a decade ago, before virtual work and everything. I ended up inspiring clients in various industries to go virtual with their jobs and businesses.
Wow.
So that they could spend more time traveling. Right. So like I hear from advisors so often, like they try to kind of hide who they are and, oh, I need to, just be professional all the time. And I'm like, but that isn't where the relationships are built.
Right. The relationships are built in the ballroom dance camps, right?
Yes.
Or in the traveling. Yeah. So I think that's really, really great. You mentioned we don't want to ask people to overshare, right? What does oversharing look like to you?
Making it a little too much about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are some people on LinkedIn that I see. And again, I'm not everybody's audience. And that's the other thing, is like, if you see something that you don't like, then maybe don't do that yourself. Right. And just realize they are attracting a different audience.
Right.
And that's okay. Right. So just figure out like what is true to you. Because there are people I see on LinkedIn. That's my main platform I'm active on. And I'm like, it kind of drives me crazy. And it just feels like it's too much of them. And it's way too many selfies like every day. And I was like, that isn't interesting to me. Like, that's why I stopped going on Instagram 8 years ago.
Right.
But that works for their brand. And that's okay. Right. I'm not judging it. It just isn't for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's really great advice. Katie, is there anything that I haven't asked you yet about video marketing or getting into videos for the first time that you think would be helpful for people to hear?
I always say probably two things. One, you don't need to go get $8,000 of equipment. I hear from advisors all the time. They're like, I bought all this stuff and it's been sitting in my closet for the last 18 months. I was like, equipment doesn't create videos. That's one thing to know, right? So when we kind of peel back the layers of that onion, we realize it's just fear. Fear is the hardest part. And the amount of people, like I know we're on video, but the amount of people who have said they are more scared of public speaking than death,
Yes.
right? I think it's probably even more people are scared of being on video than public speaking or death. But it is something that most advisors do regularly. Everybody did it during COVID. And so start small. Don't try to go to the most complicated thing. Don't try to create a 10-minute YouTube video that is perfectly optimized. Start with one-to-one videos to your clients. Send, if you already use Loom internally, send a Loom video saying happy birthday. Or just a spontaneous video saying, you know, hey, Hillary, I've so enjoyed working with you over the last 20 years. I'm just sending this message to say thank you for being such a great client. I've enjoyed, you know, everything we've accomplished. I hope you have a great afternoon, right? It doesn't have to have a purpose. And then just do that to get comfortable, right? To kind of break through that shell and realize one of the hardest things that I tell advisors all the time, what you think about your video doesn't matter.
Right.
And every advisor that's done video has a story about the video they spent the most time on, that got the least results, and the video they spent the least amount of time on, that got the best results.
I just had 2 advisors pop into mind who have said that exact thing to me. Right. So it happens to everybody. And that's how I feel about my LinkedIn post too. Yeah. I can spend forever creating this beautiful carousel post that nobody will see. Yep. And then the LinkedIn post that I write from my phone while I'm nursing my baby goes viral.
Isn't it crazy?
Right.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, so we have to just do it.
Right.
And then we kind of need to let the world tell us what works, because otherwise we are so hard on ourselves. We spin ourselves into madness, get analysis paralysis, just overthink things, and then never get anything done.
Right. Right. Well, this has been really helpful, Katie. If people want to get in touch with you or learn more about you, where are the best places to do so?
I would say connect with me on LinkedIn. And you can head to my website. I always love, Hillary, if you've been on my website, I have a little like talk to me button in the bottom right-hand corner. So I love hearing from podcast listeners. If you go to my website, AdvisorVM for video marketing, advisorvm.com, then click that and you can send me a video message. And if there are any questions we didn't cover, I will reply back and answer it by video. Or if you had an aha moment, or if you just want to practice video, you can shoot me one right through my website.
Oh, I love this. I hope that every listener takes advantage of that because that sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much, Katie. I will post all of that in the show notes as well. And this has been really great.
Fabulous. Hillary, thank you so much for having me and for everything you do on this podcast. It's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Finance Marketing Podcast. If you're eager to market your business in a way that feels good and actually gets results, sign up for the Finance Marketing Podcast newsletter in the show notes so you never miss another episode. If you liked what you heard today, please be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening app and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you back here next Friday.